Mongoose Jake here to do a quick little video on a very overlooked and often underappreciated upgrade. And of course, what you can see what I'm talking about is pedals. Now, this is something that's pervasive for pretty much every level of bike. Now, going up to high-end bikes, a lot of times they're not even spec'd with pedals. And especially, in my time when I was racing and doing serious downhill and freeride, and competing, the bikes that I was riding, when you go look, I knew the bike shop owner. He would be kind enough, that he had a whole stash of these cheapo VP pedals, VP branded. They were little plastic ones that like $5 pedals. He would throw them on every bike for you to be able to test ride, and he'd just leave them on when you bought one. But most bikes at high end, they come like this. Just a bare crank arm. And they don't spec anything. They say it's because, high-end bikes normally are being bought by people who have their own preferences already in place. And I do agree with that. But also I think it's a way for them not to have to spec apart and make a little more profit margin. But that's a whole different tangent for a whole different video. The profit margins and markups of bikes, not necessarily by the bike shops, but by the companies themselves. Because the bike shops, they're not the ones making the huge dollars anyways. But specifically focusing on what's at hand here, this is off the Ledge. And both the Ledge and the Slalom both had terrible pedals. The Ledge a little less so. These are actually at least, solid aluminum alloy. Whereas the Slalom's pedals, they are just absolute trash. And I mean, rip them off and throw them away. These at least I'll save. Somebody can make use of them just for a cruiser or a comfort bike around the neighborhood. And maybe if I fix somebody's bike, I'll throw these on. They're not totally garbage, but for mountain biking, pedals are a underrated and highly underappreciated part of the bike. It's one of your major contact points. And I almost would say the most major. The only other one would be your saddle. Handlebar is, of course, a control item, and it's a contact point at the grips. And it's important to have a comfortable bend that matches, what fits your shoulder width, all that. That's a whole different thing and I can do a whole important points of a bike focusing on the contact points. I can do a whole different video on that. But people forget about the pedals. And a pedal like this, I'll make sure I've got both lefts, because the sticker actually survived because I wasn't even pedaling on that side much. I've faded off the paint from my rides on this side. But looking at the two, and this is just a cheap Bucklos pedal. I'm only using it because I think the camo pattern's cool. I'm admitting that fully. The camo pattern is cool. I love that. It doesn't match anything I'm going to do with the bike, but I don't care. But not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Although Bucklos, if you want to reach out to me, I do like your stuff enough that I would work with you. That said, not sponsored. But looking at the two pedals, this offers way more grip because you look at the traction pins and those are replaceable. These are not. These are just little nubs that are basically part of the cast of the aluminum body. These are replaceable and much more pronounced. So this was a bit slippery. Even with proper mountain biking shoes for flat pedals. These, of course, these are going to be very grippy. With a large surface area. And let's just line this up so you can see this. Make sure those axles are centered. Put the shoulder exactly even. There we go. And look at that. Look at how much more area there is on that Bucklos pedal. It's like that's a lot more support for your foot. So when you're riding, it's like your whole entire width is supported. Was longer front to back by quite a bit. And more traction, so you're not having to focus on, making sure your foot doesn't slip off. And this features fully sealed cartridge bearings. That's a wide open shot straight to the bearing. You can't see it. I don't have enough light to focus down in there, but that's a straight shot to the bearings. So after a few rides, if there's a little bit of sand or grit or water that gets in there, your bearings are going to get toast pretty fast. Even a cheap pedal like this Buckles is going to last quite a bit longer and spin very smooth. Right now, of course, the seals are very firm and it turns smooth with a bit of resistance. But man, once those seals bed in, it's going to be very nice. I mean, they do look cool. I will give Buckles that. That camo pattern is cool. But better traction, replaceable pins, more support for your foot. And throwing these on the scale, the stock set weighed 0.92 pounds. Almost a full pound on just the pedals. These, despite their extra area, because these are going to molded nylon, they actually shave weight. They're at 0.8 pounds. That's a big difference in a, single item. Over 1/10 of a pound being saved while also improving every other aspect. That's why I say pedals, a highly overlooked and underappreciated and underrated upgrade. And I only paid $17.88 for these things. I had a little discount code. They're about $20, but a little coupon code saved me a little bit of money and got down to the weird price of $17.88. So feel free to copy me. I do think these are cool, but you don't have to. Just any pedals that are your preference. Don't forget that when you go to upgrade any bike. Don't forget to change out your pedals and you'll reap the benefits yourself. So I hope you enjoy this little snippet of a video focusing on what I think is a underappreciated part of upgrading, because of course to everybody else, wheel sets, drivetrains, suspension, that's the flashy, big deal kind of items. That's what everybody focuses on. But your contact points, including pedals, are pretty much some of the most important parts of your bike. It's where you're touching it. And that can make or break your enjoyment of the ride. So keep that in mind when you go to look at your bike and what you want to do to it. Till next time, it's Mongoose Jake saying thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.